what do you think the reaction would be if a child at a dinner table one night said, Papa, Mama, I want to be rich. My goal in life is to earn a lot of money and be very, very rich. Would there be a reprimand or a joke or maybe a lesson in morality to say, money is not that important, child. Do something good with your life. Do well. And that there begins the dichotomy that a child begins to think that what does do well mean? What does it really mean? Growing up as children, we were told the same thing, do well. And as parents, we tell the same thing to our kids, do well. But somewhere we shy away from equating the do well to get rich. There is this idea that money is not good, it's bad. It belongs to the dark side. An obvious reference to having money or the desire to earn more money somewhere is morally lower than poverty, which has the moral high ground. I want to ask this question today, that why are we shying away from being rich? I am saying money is good. Being rich is very good. Money gives us options. It gives us choices. It is a goal worth going for. There are caveats and I will come to that. But let's also understand why our reactions have been like this. It isn't as if our parents mean badly. It isn't as if we like to push money away. But for that, we'll have to take a deep dive into our own history of the country. From being a country and economy which was well placed in the world pecking order as far as resources goes, we were called Sone ki Chidiya, to a place where the invasions caused slavery, caused deprivation. There was a whole transition in the way that we looked at wealth and money. There was no way for people to get rich other than being possibly going over to the dark side or doing things which were not considered really good. For cohorts of people across generations, if the idea that money, wealth, richness is not something which is within our means, there is no hope that we will ever have enough. It is far easier to deal with this when you agree that poverty is our lot and being poor makes us morally higher than those who are those evil rich. So over generations, this thought got embedded into our psyche that somebody who's poor has the moral high ground. And this thought got perpetuated as we got independence. We were a desperately poor nation. The Bengal famine happened around that time. Millions died. As a free nation, this attitude towards wealth, that the rich get rich by being evil, by being cruel, by being corrupt, got reinforced in the movies. And Bollywood is such a great reflector of the morality of a time, of the discourse of a time. And I'm going to now go through some of the movies which have depicted this transition of our own attitudes towards money and wealth and the rich. So as we got independence, one of the movies, epic of that time, Mother India, it has this, it's this character which people of that time identified with. It was a largely agrarian economy, desperately poor. The moneylender held all kinds of power over the villagers, over the poor. And the depiction of this disgusting, vicious moneylender who's preying upon the life, blood, honor of the poor has been done so well in that movie. But as the country starts to grow, the 70s have a different flavor. And again, another epic movie, Diwar, where there are two brothers, do bhai. There is a poor brother, Shashi Kapoor, who's a policeman, who has the high moral ground. The rich brother, Amitabh Bachchan, is rich because he's a smuggler. He has gone over to the dark side. He's got daulat, bangla, gadi, shohrat. The poor brother has his high morals and ma. And then we move another decade. And now it is another Amitabh Bachchan, another epic movie. And this is Kala Patthar. Remember, this is the decade, this is the time of Indira Gandhi turning the country, taking a U-turn into socialism. The word socialist got introduced into our preamble. There was a whole nationalization of corporations, of resources. In that backdrop, this movie, you have to see this movie called Kala Patthar, where, again, the rich guy is the owner of the coal mine. All he cares about is his money, his cars, his imported Impala cars, and his lifestyle. The poor, the coal mine workers, they are playing with their lives every time they go into a mine which has no safety measures. But the quality of the poor is also beginning to change. They are far more aware of their rights, and the fight back can happen in a different space. Then jump forward a few decades and you're at 91. We got political freedom in 47. The door to economic freedom began in 91, where the possibility of a larger share of the national resources, of growth, that possibility was born in that 1991 year. But it takes a decade for the fruits of this liberalization to come and for that to get reflected in Bollywood. Dil Chahta Hai was this movie at the turn of the millennium where the lifestyle, the wealthy lifestyle of the protagonist is taken as a given. There is a woman drinking wine and she's neither a prostitute nor a bad girl. That's the lifestyle. So we see a transition in the way that wealth is depicted from being something evil and bad to being part of a lifestyle which is taken for granted. And then move forward, just a few years ago, there is this movie called Gully Boy, where a poor slum boy wants to make it big. Not because he's got a sick mother, not because the sister needs to get married, but because he wants it for himself. He wants to get rich because he thinks he should. And that's the transition that we've seen in our own attitudes towards money. So money has gone from becoming the repository of the evil, the fruits of corruption, into being something which is actually aspirational, except that we are not really talking about it. We are still hesitant in on the dinner table to accepting that money is good. And let's think about why, what is the importance of money? When the pandemic was on its big second wave, did you not need money to buy that oxygen cylinder, to buy a bed in the hospital? If there's somebody in the family who needs a very expensive surgery, don't you need money for that surgery? Don't you wish you were rich at that moment? If there's an aspirational course that you want to go for in a university of your choice, isn't money a great thing to give wings to that dream? Money is what money does. It is inherently not good or bad. It is what we make of it. Which brings me to the question that, are we really asking the right question? Is money good or bad? No, money is good. It is how we earn it and what we do with it. So I'm going to now transition to the two questions which are really important, which is what we should be thinking about. I'm making the proposition that money is good. It is worth having. It is worth going after. We should all have money. But let's answer this question. How do you want to get rich? It used to be that there was very few avenues for people to get rich. People were in service. Very difficult. Very few investment opportunities were there. But today, as we see in the last 20 to 30 years, there are cohorts of professionals who have become seriously wealthy. You don't need to be just a businessman. Of course, enterprise has its place in wealth creation, but professionals like doctors, lawyers, managers, they have made serious wealth by being extremely good at what they do. So the choice for you is to decide, how do you want to get wealthy? There is right now this whole idea that you can get rich quickly because of cryptocurrency billionaires, because of the stock market millionaires that we've seen in the last few months and years. There are times in history when you get lucky, when you happen to buy a few things called Bitcoin, which nobody really understood that time, and it isn't as if you understood, you just got lucky. And there are times in history when you buy a certain stock and it does well, not because you had foresight, but because you got lucky. So discounting all of that, there are no shortcuts to wealth. Whether it is your own startup that you do, so yes, the unicorns make newspaper headlines, but you should also understand how many nights the promoters did not sleep, what struggles they did, how they had to fight for market share, for getting the company, getting the VC funding, what battles they have fought to get to that point. There are no shortcuts to wealth. And if you're inheritors, it takes an equal amount of hard work to retain and grow that wealth. So this question of how you're going to get rich, treat it with a lot of care, because you will have to put a lot of attention and thought as to what route you're going to take to get rich. If there is an inherent talent that you have, if there is something that you have that will generate money and wealth, that is the direction that you're going to take. And the second question, that once you get rich, what do you think you're going to do? If your answer is I'm going to chill, I'm going to buy an island somewhere and strum my guitar for the rest of my life, well, you know what, you'll get bored in a week. It's a romantic notion that I'll make all the money, I'll travel the world, and I'll just while my time away. Study after study has told us that meaning in life, doing things which are bigger than yourself, having a purpose to your everyday life, has far more meaning than money. Money, of course, is important. But once you have the money, unless you have meaning, I am not so sure that you may have the happiness you think you will have when you have that money. So the second part of this equation that you need to work out is, what do you plan to do with this money to keep it, to grow it, and then give it more meaning in your life. So when you sit on the dinner table the next time with your parents, or if you are the parents when you sit with your kids, start unpacking this whole question of why we are shy about accepting the fact that we want to go after money, to come to a point when you say money is good, and then take the conversation forward to say, this is how I will get rich, and this is what I will do when I'm finally rich.